filtration leaders for well over 100 years. We invented the first air cleaner. It's when, pretty much any piece of equipment you'll see here at the show likely has some Donaldson filtration technology on it. So that's something we're very proud of, and we know those applications really well. We provide those to many OEMs. We also work with many fleets through our aftermarket channels, and we have a very well-known, respected global brand on the filtration products. When we think about FilterMinder then, who's FilterMinder? So FilterMinder has been in the business for over 40 years of providing the products to help you tell when to change the filters. And what we're doing is, how do we advance on that, right? So FilterMinder was an acquisition by Donaldson 4.5 years ago, and FilterMinder is the leader for when filters should be serviced. And we sell those, again, if you walk around and check out a lot of the equipment, you'll see a lot of FilterMinder products out on applications. So we think about it then, if we have the best technology from a filtration side, best technology from a monitoring side, when we put that together as a total filtration solution, we believe we have the most compelling offer to create the most value for customers. So now when we think about smart filtration, if they could talk, what would they want to tell us? What are really the problems that that's really meant to solve? So a couple different things. Number one is, so a lot of filtration in fluid service is done based off time-based intervals. So most people that have a car, the common thing is every 3,000 miles change your oil, right? Well, do you really need an oil change every 3,000 miles or not? And if you think about it, in a lot of these heavy-duty applications, if you have a lot of pieces of equipment and you're changing based on time intervals, you could really be spending a lot of money that you don't need to spend, right? So that's one of the things is if you don't need to service it early, that can really lead to a lot of waste from an expense perspective. We see that that's a big challenge, especially when you get in really harsh, demanding off-road conditions. People will be pulling air filters out almost daily to blow them out or bang them up against the tire to clean the filters out. And that's really causing a lot of damage to the engine. It's creating a lot of risk for the filters. So it's not something that's good, right? And it costs fleets a lot of money. On the flip side, if you go, okay, well, we're going to get the maximum life out of it, that can actually cause a lot of problems too, right? So some people will run it well past service intervals. That can lead to, if you run oil kind of beyond its useful life, you can destroy an engine. If you take an air filter past its end of life, similar thing, you can destroy an engine. It'll cost a lot of fuel economy. So that can really cause a lot of extra expense from the fleet side that we're really helping them solve. And lastly, there's a lot of concern about technician availability, right? So when we talk about fleets and who's actually doing maintenance, how do we make sure that those people are focused and prioritized in adding the most value from a maintenance perspective, and how do we utilize those people from a fleet perspective as much as possible? So those are really the problems that, if filters could talk, these are the things we want to solve with that, right? Okay, so what are we doing? So right here's an example. On the left-hand side, you'll see a picture of, that's what a Donaldson Power Core air cleaner. It's got a FilterMinder indicator on it. That's kind of this common in many, many applications today. On the right-hand side, what we have here is an example for air filtration. So the awesome thing is, where basically you unthread off the old mechanical indicator, thread on this wireless sensor, and we're really excited to announce our collaboration and partnership with Geotab. So we have some of our partners from Geotab here. But Geotab is one of the leaders in the telematics space. They have over 2 million subscribers globally, and they're making a big push to leverage their technology on the off-road side as well now. So up front, we have a couple examples. So there's the Geotab on-road device, a Go device, and then for the off-road applications is the Go Rugged. So that's really meant to have more ruggedized features. It's got high, you can mount it externally on a piece of equipment. It handles high water ingression, high vibration, shock, temperature type environments. So for us, we see a lot of value in how do we leverage and connect in with partners that are the leaders in that space today, so that we can create, it's a 1 + 1 is greater than 2 type situation. So to start with first, we're excited at this show to basically launch the air monitoring solution. So that is now commercially available. We're driving that with what we call our early adopter program. So fleets and customers that are very interested in how they can use this technology to improve their maintenance, improve their equipment uptime, that is available today through my Geotab, right? So we wanted to talk about for sure that the Geotab platform is a very key critical component of our solution. One of the advantages of the wireless technology that we're using, it's ultra low energy. So you hear a lot of Bluetooth as a wireless technology of choice. We've partnered with an Italian technology company. They have ultra low energy wireless data transmission. that's significantly longer life than Bluetooth. So it enables a smaller, less expensive sensor than a Bluetooth technology. And we can apply that across all the different filtration and fluid monitoring technologies. And we have applications up front for air filtration, fuel filtration, oil condition, and hydraulic filtration monitoring. And lastly, as we talked about, it's really about flexibility from a customer perspective. So we're not mandating that you have to have all the monitoring technologies. If you're a particular fleet and you want to monitor air filters and oil condition, we can customize how we put that solution together to address your particular needs. So that's really how Donaldson is positioning ourselves. So now we'll give a couple examples of what that looks like in my Geotab platform. So this would be what we would consider our fleet view. So when a fleet manager wants access for their whole Geotab, to manage their entire fleet, one of the nice things was essentially instead of having to, one of the problems that we identified with some other connected solutions in the industry, everybody's adding like another app or another telematics device. For us, it's about how do we leverage the tools that people are using to run their fleet today. So if you're a fleet manager and you're using your My Geotab, instead of having to go into a different app or another portal, you can look at the Donaldson add-in right in your My Geotab. So you don't have to go into a different system. And this here would be a listing of all the different vehicles, and then the filter status would indicate if any of your oil filters, fuel filters, air filters, oil condition, any of those are at a end-of-life status. So you can quickly sort based off that, and then hover that to identify, hey, is it a fuel issue, is it an oil condition issue, so on and so forth. So it's very nicely integrated right into the Geotab platform. And that's an example of our dashboard essentially within that. So you can dive into, not only you can look at a fleet view, but you can go on a truck by truck perspective. So here I can check out, okay, how's my air filter doing? How's my fuel filter doing? How's oil condition? Everything available right there, right? So instead of having to go to a different platform, everything is embedded into a single application. All right? One of the things that we wanted to offer fleets is the ability to customize and fine-tune when they want to be notified, when they want to be alerted. So some people, if you think about it, really if they just want to run their business, right? So if they're green and the system is working well, they just want to run. The other thing is if they can get an information of, hey, give me a heads up when something is going to happen, right? So if I can plan and I can coordinate and maybe get spare parts or schedule the repair order ahead of time, that's what we consider the service soon alert, right? So give me an alert that says we're approaching a service and let's schedule that service soon. And then the last one is a service now. Hey, you're in the red zone. How do you, you need to take action now. So the way we've built our system is that it's very flexible to allow that to be customized for every single user, depending on the location, the equipment type, how they want to run their maintenance, so on and so forth. So we feel that that's a very high value add for fleet customers and gives them the flexibility. Okay? Lastly, as we talked about, we're launching our air filtration monitoring solution now. So we're calling that our early adopter program. So that's an opportunity for fleets to trial the technology for free, essentially for 3 months. So you can test it for free for 3 months. We're partnering again with our Geotab partnership to leverage that to say, hey, how can we demonstrate and show the value for this from your fleet perspective? And then the other thing we're excited to announce here at Conexpo is our expansion into the liquid monitoring technologies. So that's been a part of our vision from day one, but when we think about monitoring oil condition real time, there's a lot of value to be had in terms of if you can detect that, for example, a fuel injector has gone bad or an EGR cooler has failed, and that leads to maybe contamination in your oil, that can be a very minor, lower cost repair versus a complete engine failure. So we see that as something that adds a lot of value to fleet customers. Same technology is applied to hydraulic oil condition monitoring. Is we want to help people optimize when should they be changing fluids, is there any contamination that's happening in the fluids in between those service intervals. And on the liquid applications, we've begun field testing that and we're rapidly expanding that. So we're looking for fleet partners. So people that view themselves as technology adopters that want to leverage connected solutions to drive value for their fleet, increase equipment uptime. We're looking for those partners to pilot those. So that's really what we had in the presentation. Thank you for your joining us and listening. We much appreciate the opportunity to present to you all, so thank you. Are there any questions?